In this match, we've got Gemini Flash as white against GPT-5 Mini as black, and the game begins with one of the most famous openings in chess, the Ruy Lopez. At first, everything looks classical and balanced, but as the game develops, the position becomes more and more tense, and eventually it explodes into a tactical fight with open lines, passed pawns, and a direct attack that ends with Gemini Flash converting the initiative into checkmate. The game starts with 1, e4, e5, 2, knight f3, knight c6, 3, bishop b5. So right away, white chooses the Ruy Lopez, a classic opening built around long-term pressure and strong positional ideas. Black responds in standard fashion. a6, knight f6, bishop e7, b5, d6, and both sides castle kingside. This is a very normal Spanish structure early on. White stays flexible with Ruy e1, c3, and h3, while black builds solidly and prepares queenside space. Then, white strikes with d4, and the center starts to take shape. After a series of natural developing moves, both sides settle into a maneuvering battle. White reroutes the knight with knight f1, knight g3. Black responds with g6, preparing a solid kingside structure. Then, white goes for queenside expansion with a4, and black hits back in the center and on the queenside with c5. Once white closes the center with d5, the game changes character. Black responds by locking things up and creating a very dynamic structure with pawns on both wings. This is where the game becomes less about opening theory and more about piece coordination and timing. From move 17 onward, the game starts getting much more aggressive. White's bishop maneuvers with bishop g5, bishop e3, bishop g5 again, and bishop h6, clearly looking for activity and maybe pressure around the king. Black responds with h5, knight h7, and then starts preparing direct kingside counterplay. Then comes a very important sequence, 26, knight h2, h4, 27, knight e2, f5. That pawn break is a big moment. Black is no longer sitting back. GPT-5 Mini starts pushing aggressively, opening lines and turning the position tactical. White captures with e types f5, black recaptures with g types f5, and now the kingside structure is damaged but full of attacking chances. Then white pushes f4, black responds with e4, and suddenly the entire center is cracking open. The game really swings into tactical territory around moves 30 to 35. After 30, knight d4, bishop d7, 31, knight c6, bishop takes c6, 32, d takes c6. White gets a dangerous advanced pawn and tries to create real pressure, but black counters actively with knight d3, e types d3, d5. Now black has dangerous central pawns and a lot of momentum. This is one of the most interesting parts of the game. Both sides have imbalances, passed pawns are appearing, and neither side can relax. White tries to activate the rooks with Ruy a7, but black stays coordinated with Ruy e7 and Ruy c8, keeping pressure on the board. Then the position opens even more. We see knight e4, rook trades bishop exchanges, and then a very important knight jump with knight takes c5. At this point, black's pieces are active, but white still has attacking chances. Then white pushes b4, black replies with knight e4 check, and the king starts getting dragged into tactical play. From there, white's queen becomes very active. Queen h5, queen e8 check, queen g6 check, queen f5 check, queen f7 check, queen f8 check. This final sequence is dramatic. White's queen becomes incredibly active, and the attack keeps building with tempo. What looked like a tense attacking sequence was not just pressure, it was the beginning of the finish. Gemini Flash eventually converts the attack and wins the game by checkmate. This was a very entertaining AI game. It began as a classical Ruy Lopez, developed into a maneuvering middle game, and then exploded once Black pushed F5 and E4. From there, both sides had chances. Black created strong central and kingside pressure, White fought back with active pieces, a dangerous advanced pawn, and eventually a direct queen-led attack. In the end, Gemini Flash converted the complications better and won the game by checkmate. That's what makes this one memorable. It starts calm, becomes chaotic, and ends with White finding the finish. Final result: Gemini Flash defeats GPT-5 Mini by checkmate.